All right, we are going to get started. Hello, everyone. Hello out there. Happy holidays. Thank you for joining us. My name is Diana Veiga, and I am the creator of Telling Stories, which is who this the entity that is bringing you this show today. So, welcome to Lit Stories About the Holidays. This is our second virtual show. Our first one was in October called Press Stories about getting your hair did. We had some people who here tonight who were in that show last time, and we had a great time, if I do say so myself. So tonight we have an awesome lineup of storytellers. So just sit back, enjoy yourself. You all can engage with one another in the comments. Be sure to make sure you can click to all panelists and attendees so we can all see your comments and chat with you. Tonight's show is free, but we are accepting donations. I'm going to post the donate link all up and through the show, and I'm gonna be like a Baptist preacher tonight, like, please give us some money. The money will go to support our storytellers, and a portion of the proceeds will go to Black Voters Matter to help turn Georgia blue. Ooh, we got to do it. We got to do it. And to keep telling stories going, and so we can have shows in 2021. Also, fun fact, I used to have a gift basket company called Diana Delivers. Yes, I'm a Jill of all trades. And I love making gift baskets. I don't do it as much anymore, but for tonight's show, we will be raffling 3 gift baskets. And they are, I don't know if y'all can see it because it's not on me yet, but when it's on me, you'll see. They are great gift baskets. They have some gourmet goodies and some sweets and treats, but we have several products from Black businesses that I'm so excited about. In the basket, there is Baby Skin Soft Superstar Butter, organic shea butter, coconut oil, and essential oils to keep your skin nice and moisturized. So I'll post a link for that. There'll be a baby rum bunt cake from Keys Confections. I'll post a link for that, and a holiday spice tea blend from Good Thoughts Tea Company. So we're so excited to include those items from Black owned businesses. So I'm going to post those during people's story time, but I'm going to post all of that information during the story time. This is the donation link. I'm going to post it right now. And so to set the tone for tonight's show, I want to read a poem by Nikki Giovanni called Nikki Rosa. And it goes, childhood remembrances are always a drag if you're Black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no inside toilet. And if you become famous or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself and how good the water felt when you got your bath from one of those big tubs that folk in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow, when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood their feelings as the whole family attended meetings about Hollydale. And even though you remember, your biographers never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock, and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes any difference, but only that everybody is together and you and your sister have happy birthdays and very good Christmases. And I really hope no white person ever has cause to write about me because they never understand Black love is Black wealth. And they'll probably talk about my hard childhood and never understand that all the while I was quite happy. And so I really love that poem by Nikki Giovanni. I really love that line that Black love is Black wealth. And that is part of why I wanted to bring this show to you all tonight. And before we hear from all of tonight's storytellers, I want to tell y'all about my Auntie Janice. Now, I forgot to say this last time at the press show, but that show was dedicated to my Auntie Janice because she was the best storyteller. It would take her 10 minutes just to tell a basic story about how she ran to the grocery store to get a pack of chicken. But like there would be some shenanigans in between and everything. It just so probably all the shows will be dedicated to her. But this one tonight, especially because my Auntie Janice loved Christmas. Like as soon so she and my other auntie Shirley, they lived together and they would host this Christmas brunch, but it was really us eating all day. We just called it brunch. So as soon as you walked in the house, my auntie Janice would be like, "What'd you get me? What'd you get me? What'd you get me?" She was like a little kid. She'd be like, "What'd you get me? What'd you get me? What'd you get me?" And she'd be ready to open her gifts. But you know, we ready to eat. It's grits and bacon and eggs and biscuits. We like, we'll get to the gifts, but can we get some breakfast? So we would eat, and then she'd be looking at her watch. Let's open gifts. But now people want to drink coffee. You know, she would make some mimosas. People want to sip a little, maybe take your first nap of the day. So we're like, we won't get to gifts. We have all day. But every year, she'd be like, I'm ready for gifts. Y'all ready for gifts? We ready for gifts? So finally, we would, relent and we'd say, okay, we can open gifts. And she would be so happy. Everybody would have their pile of their gifts, and she would just open everything and just be so excited. So my aunt she never married, she didn't have kids. Now, when I was little, she used to bring men she was dating, around the family for dinner, for holidays. But about after when I got about 12 years old, she had a bad experience and she never brought any men around. And I just felt like my aunt was alone. Now I was a teen, so I didn't know. Maybe she was having some fun and she just didn't feel the need to bring the men around the family. But I didn't know those details, at 14 years old. I just thought my auntie was out here living like a nun. And I was like, oh, I want my auntie to know love. I want her to have her somebody. She's so deserving. And so when I got about 16, your aunts and your mom start to really tell you the real deal about life and men. So one day she said, I just have the worst luck with men. And it could be a stadium of all good men, and I would always pick the one bad one. And this broke my heart. I wanted my aunt to know love, but really I wanted her to like work on herself and figure out why was she picking the wrong men so she could find her somebody, right? Because she deserved. So when I was about 17, I found what I knew was going to be the perfect Christmas gift for her. I was so excited that Christmas, we get to the house and she wants to open gifts. And we're like, not yet, not yet. But then finally it's time. And when you buy somebody a gift that you're really proud of, like you want to see their face when they open it. You want to see their eyes light up and then be like, oh my gosh, this is for me. You want to see the excitement and everything. So we're opening gifts, and I go to my Auntie Janice, and I was like, here you go, Auntie. This gift is for me. I hope you love it and everything. I'm so excited. And she takes it and she opens it up and she looks down at the gift and she looks at me and she looks down and she looks at me and she's like, what the hell is this? Now, what the hell was it? It was Ayanla Van Zont's book, Yesterday I Cried, or One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. It was one of them, y'all, because it was 1998. Ayanla was all on the TV. She was the Black woman guru. She was on Oprah. She was telling Black women how to heal. This is what you need to do to learn to love yourself. I just knew my auntie needed these words of wisdom from Ayanla. I had written an inscription in the book. I was like, Auntie, after you read this book, I hope when you go to that stadium of men, you are able to find the good one. You deserve love. I love you. Love, Diana. Merry Christmas. And she was like, what the hell is this? I don't want no book from no Ayanla, no quack. She's a fake. She a phony, calling herself Ayanla. I remember when she lived down here, and her name was Rhonda, and she was selling fish dinners out the back of her truck on Benning Road. Now she calling herself Ayanla, giving advice. I don't want no book. What can Ayanla tell me? for the whole Christmas. She hurt my feelings so bad, y'all. So bad. She wouldn't even talk to me hardly or look at me. And if she did, it was only to be like, I can't believe you got me that Ayanla book. Why would you get me that Ayanla book? And then every Christmas for like the next 20 years, y'all, every time I handed her a Christmas gift, she would be like, remember when you got me that Ayanla book? Now, why would you do that? 20 years later, she never let it go, y'all. Never let it go. But on the plus side, on the love, on the auntie side, she never got rid of that book though. Now she may have used it as a coaster, but she never got rid of the book. So I'm gonna just call that love and say I love you to my auntie. Um, Now moving on, we are gonna kick this show off. Please welcome to the Telling Stories stage, Harriet Ross Tubman Davis.
I want to be ready. I want to be ready, children. I want to be ready. I want to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Well, I thank you for coming to visit an old lady and reminiscing about Christmas time. This here is a Christmas program. That's what I heard. And I want to tell you about the best gift you can give to somebody for Christmas. It ain't a book. Wouldn't do me no good anyway, because I can't read or write. I want to tell you how I gave my brothers freedom for Christmas. Now, in case y'all don't know, I was born about 1822 and on the Eastern Shore, Cambridge, a little place called Bucktown in Maryland. I was born in bondage to the Broders family. But after a while, I couldn't stand it no more. See, after I got hit in the head with that lead weight and the Lord started talking to me just like I was talking to you right here, I had reasoned it out in my mind that there was two things that I had a right to. Liberty or death. If I could not have one, I was going to have the other. But no man was going to take me alive. I would fight for my freedom with my last breath. And when it was time for me to go, only the good Lord would take me. I got married. That didn't answer that hole in my heart that craved for freedom. So in 1849, I left my husband behind because he was a free man, didn't want to go. I left my brothers behind because they got scared and didn't want to go. I left my mom and daddy behind because the call to freedom and the Lord's calling me meant everything in the world. And I made it all the way to Philadelphia. That's where I met Mr. William Silk. He a smart colored boy. He got books and newspaper. And he's the one that got me started on the Underground Railroad. Now see, I had gone back in 1850 to get my husband, Mr. John Tubman, and I had been gone a year. And I guess he recollect I was dead and wasn't coming back because he had to take up with another woman. She a free woman, not like me. So I freed some more folk and got back to Philadelphia. But then I started to take people all the way to Canada because they had this new rule, the fugitive slave law, where folks could come up to Philadelphia and New York and Boston and snatch up colored folk off the street and drag them back where they was in bondage. I got my little brother, Moses, in 1851. But then that day come, I believe it was a Sunday, yes. Sunday, December the 17th, 1854, my feet started itching. And you know what the old folks say, if your feet itch, that means somebody you love in big trouble. And I got word that down on Eastern Shore, Miss Broders, Miss Eliza Broders was selling off her slaves. See, she's always in debt because she liked to live bigger than she really is. Her husband, Mr. Edward Broders, had died and she was trying to make some money. And my brothers was worth $500 a piece. So I decided I'd have to go back and get them. Now, I went to Mr. William Sill and told him to passed the word down the line that old Harriet was coming back and that she'd be bringing some bundles of hay with her. That's talking for bringing some slaves with her. And I chose Christmas because Christmas is a good time for running away. Now, I know y'all city folk don't understand why that be. See, Christmas time is a time down on the plantation where white folks be partying. Oh, they like to have a good time. They drink, they party. And they know that whole week between Christmas and New Year, they was having a good time. Plus, you had folks that was sold to another plantation or had been rented out. They give you a pass to be on the road. So when the patrollers see you walking down the road, you could show them that you had permission to be on the road. So it was nothing to see colored folk walking down the road Christmas time. And then, you know, them white folks always think we too stupid, you know? They say to the colored folk, go out and get us a Yule log. Long as that log be burning, we gonna keep partying. Now what you think we do? We get the biggest log we could find. And then we soaks it in water for a couple of days so the inside will get nice and damp. Then we let the outside dry out in the sun. Because see, that dampness will keep that log burning longer and longer. Long as it burns, they keep partying, they keep drinking, and we keep getting away. So I decided I was going to go back on Christmas time. It was snowing. It was cold that year. I had just got paid the Friday before, and I got my pay in cash. I had a job scrubbing white lady floor, but it wasn't much, but kind of all I could do. You see, I ain't having no skills except I could talk to the Lord. And I guess that's all the skills you need. The Lord told me always which way to go. I ain't have no map, no compass, but I had a better guide because the Lord could speak to me just like I talking to you now. I decided now was the time to go if I was going to make it by Christmas Eve. I had a big pair of Brogan boots for walking and running. See, I had been breaking them in all month long because I know something was coming. And I put on layers of clothes. But before I put on my coat, I took some bed ticket. Now, y'all don't know what that is. That's the big old, it looked like a cover. And that's what you put in your straw and your hay and such when you're trying to make a mattress or a pallet. So I dumped all of that out, twisted it up and tied it around my waist. Put my coat over top of that. Then in my knapsack, I put my staples. I put a little hardtack in there for when I get hungry. Put a couple of biscuits in there. Put a little bit of paregoric in there, medicine, in case there was a baby that I had to take, and that make him go to sleep, see, and he wouldn't make no noise. And of course, I put my pistol in there in case I run up against some trouble. And I wait till the night, and under the cover of darkness, I started running. I would have to run at least 15 miles a day, 103 miles total, to make it in time to catch the Christmas Eve shuttle across the Choptank River. And I took out to running. Oh, I ran. And I prayed the Lord, please keep me strong. Please keep my legs strong. When daytime come, because I could only run at night, because see, there was wanted posters and bounties on my head, dead or alive. And so when it was time to go to sleep, I looked for a hole in a tree, a foxhole. And I took that bed ticket off and I opened it up and I climbed inside and covered myself up. And I covered over my head, and my own hot breath helped to keep me warm. In the nighttime, I wake up, I eat my biscuits and my hardtack, and I use a little snow to wash it all down. And after moving around and saying my prayers, I took off to running again. When I got close, after catching the ferry back on the other side of the bay, and I got close, I know there was food around. See, my daddy Ben, he had taught me all I need to know about how to get along in the forest and in the wood. And he knew I was coming from time to time, so he would hide food, nuts and berries in places. And I know where he would go, so I went there and got some nuts. Pretty soon I heard a man coming. And so I hid down behind some rocks, and I heard the man singing. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, children. I want to be ready. I want to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I recognize the voice. It'd be my brother, William Henry. And I called out to him. He picked me up and swung me around. He said, oh, had we knew you was coming to get us. Miss Rhoda's gonna work us to death, trying to keep all the fields straight ever since either the hands had run off or she had sold them off, and we can't take no more. Then we found out she gonna sell us way down south on a chain guy. And I know what that was like, because Mr. Broders had sold off my sisters a long time ago, Leah, Sophie, Mariah, and I ain't never seen them no more. So I told him, get everybody together. Meet me in Poplar Neck. That's close to where Daddy Ben and old Rit had their cabin. So they came, and everybody came but Robert. And he said he would meet us there later. I ain't know it then, but his wife was giving birth to their third child. He had to make the decision to leave his wife and 2 boys and newborn baby behind, because he knew he was going to go one way or the other, either down on the chain gang or he was going to be free. See, he too wanted freedom for Christmas. And then Ben said, can you wait for my gal? I got a gal I want to marry, and she want to come too. Girl's name was Jane Kane, and she was owned by Horatio Jones, a mean and ornery white man. She was a mulatto. That means her daddy and her owner was the same man. And she loved Ben, and Ben loved her. But her new master didn't want nobody to have her but him. He used to beat her and lock her up in the closet with no clothes on so she couldn't run. So Ben had managed to get her some men's clothes. And she come walking around the road. She looked just like a white man coming down the road. 2 others had joined us. And then Robert come along saying he was going to leave his wife and maybe one day he could go back and get her. And then it started raining. So with the snow came the cold rain, and we was drenched and we was cold and we was hungry. So we made it to the Farter house right next to where old Rit's cabin was. Oh, I keep forgetting. Y'all city folk. Farter house is like a corn crib. The corn is in there is the corn that's not fit for us to eat. It's the corn they use to feed the animals. That's what Farter is. We got news to my Daddy Ben, to bring us some food and dry clothes. Now, my Daddy Ben was respected in town, and he had been able to purchase his freedom, but he stayed to take care of his wife. And so he didn't want to say that he had seen us the night before, so he tied a bandana around his eyes. So in case anybody asked him in the morning, have you seen Hyatt or where's your boys? He can say in truth, I ain't seen a one. We kept looking out, and my mama was standing on the porch, waiting for her boys to come for Christmas dinner. Old Massa had given her a pig, and she was roasting that pig, and she kept looking out, and the children wasn't gonna come, and you know, that would break her heart. But then we set out. We set out in the darkness, and it was Christmas Eve, and we were cold and we was hungry. And Jane was looking up in Ben's eyes with so much love. She just wanted to be free and be his wife. And we run. There was a house that we were supposed to stop at, but the Lord told me, be careful, Hat. They thought they would go. I said, no, hide. I went up to the house just as nice as you please, and I knocked on the door, and instead of colored man answering the door, it was an old white man. I said, excuse me, sir, but I lost my way. Where's Mr. Harris? He said, he don't live here no more. They took him and locked him up for helping runaways. I said, well, I thank you kindly. And I turned and I ran, and I went back to them folk and said, run as hard and as long as you can run. Just run. And our shoes was worn off our feet, and our clothes, we was hungry and wet and cold. And everybody woke up that next morning and said, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Despite all their hardship, we remember. Now, I told you I can't read, but I know the story about that little baby that was born to free us all. And here I was walking in his footsteps, and he was talking to me, telling me, I want you to free your brothers. Freedom for Christmas. And we made it to another Underground Railroad stop where they gave us a horse and a wagon and some food. They said, Hat, you gonna eat? I said, no, I can't eat till everybody was free. Because see, in my 8 years working on the Underground Railroad, I can honestly say what no other conductor can say. My train never jumped the track, and I never lost a passenger. And we rolled up through Delaware to Mr. Thomas Garrett's house, and he sees us all the way to Philadelphia. And I remember this day, because it's a holy day, Christmas, freedom from a wee baby, and freedom from his humble servant, yours truly, Miss Harriet Ross Tubman Davis. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, children. I want to be ready. I want to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Freedom for Christmas.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you, Harriet. That was Janice Curtis Green. She is an award-winning master storyteller and author, an American griot. She has been telling African American and multicultural stories for over 25 years. She is the 16th president and life member of the National Association of Black Storytellers and past president and life member of the Griot Circle of Maryland. She mesmerizes audience with folk tales, historical, motivational, and healing stories, and Bible stories set to syncopated rap rhythms. Her original story about her faith, how her faith brought her through the untimely passing of two of her sons, has been an inspiration to many grieving parents. She has won numerous awards, and she lives in Windsor Mill, Maryland, with her husband of 46 years. Hello, woo! Thank you for joining us. I'm going to post Janice Curtis Green's website in the chat so you all can check her out. You know, today, December 21st, they say Black people, we get some kind of superpowers or something, but we can see from this story, Black people, we always had the power, okay? We always had the magic, the ingenuity, the brilliance, and the commitment to be free. So thank you for sharing your story. We are going to keep it moving to our next performer, Dr. Christina Downing. She works as a therapist, but she says she doesn't analyze folks when she's off the clock. We are former roommates, hey. She speaks Spanish fluently, and she's an awesome baker. Please welcome to the Telling Stories stage, Dr. Christina Downing.
Thank you, Diana. So I'm gonna jump right in. I have a Thanksgiving story for everybody today. Before I start, let me share a couple of very important details. First important detail, and this is key. My mama and I are the oldest of our respective siblings, okay? We both the oldest. Very important. So in traditional oldest child fashion, we do things the way we want them done, and then we tell everybody else how to do their stuff too. That's how it is. That's the rules. I didn't make the rules. That's what it is. Second fact, when my grandma passed back in '99, my mama started cooking Thanksgiving dinner, or not just Thanksgiving, but holiday meals for the family that was still living in the DMV. So each Thanksgiving and Christmas, she was up all night cooking all the food. Those two things are very important. So my mama was in charge of cooking. We both the oldest. Here we go. So this situation happened many Thanksgivings ago when I was in undergrad. And one year I decided that I wanted to help my mom cook Thanksgiving dinner. She was always slaving away in the kitchen in previous years. And I thought, you know, it's time for me to step it up a little bit. Let me help her out. So I approached her about it, and she kind of looked at me like, what? And I was like, no, you don't want to help. So after some negotiations, my mom agreed to let me make something. She assigned me the mashed potatoes. Now, I don't know if I asked for mashed potatoes, if she told me mashed potatoes. I just know that I ended up with mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving that year. So, I was hype about it. I was like, okay, I got my little assignment to the internet to do a little research about, how I want to make this dish. Now, this wasn't my first time cooking, but, so my mom had been teaching me a little bit of this, a little bit of that over the years. But I want to do a little research so I could impress people with my mashed potatoes. So, I found a recipe. I was like, yes, this is the one. Got my little, got it all ready. And I was like ready for the first culinary Super Bowl. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Now, remember, this was not my first time cooking. Looking back, I was new to the culinary game. But back then, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't Edna Chase. If you don't know who she is, look her up. Like, amazing chef. I had cooked before, just not for the Super Bowl of cooking. So, having cooked in my mama's kitchen before, I knew one thing. I could not cook if she was in the kitchen. Could not do it. Y'all remember that oldest sibling tell people how to do things, how they want it to be done? Yeah, I had already experienced that with my mama. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cook while she's in the kitchen. So I had to wait. She was finishing something up at one point, and I said, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm gonna go in the kitchen. I'm gonna go make these mashed potatoes. So I'm in there getting my little Edna Chase on, feeling really excited about, him. And, I'm in there whipping it up and everything, peeling potatoes, boiling potatoes, mashing them, the masher on deck, the seasonings and the little accoutrement that I need for my mashed potatoes. We ready. So, finish up the mashed potatoes, put them in a dish, put them off to the side. My mama come back in the kitchen. She finishes up the rest of Thanksgiving dinner. So, I was like, all right, bet, we good. Now, my recipe, it was a little milk, a little butter, a little salt, some pepper, and the recipe said sour cream. So that's what I did. So, made mashed potatoes. Like I said, I was excited. I was hyped about my little mashed potatoes. And when she finished dinner, we eventually set up everything for people to come through. Now people roll through my house real informal type. So my mom would tell people the food will be ready about this time, and people just kind of show up. So when you show up, folks are in different stages of eating or making plates to go, however. And so, I put my mashed potatoes with the rest of the food and I start eating. My mom finally sits down and she starts eating. And I'm just sitting there waiting for it. I'm just waiting for my accolades. I'm just waiting for her to just tell me how good my mashed potatoes are. And, I just got to wait for her to sit down and eat and start eating, just get a taste. So the moment of truth comes. She sits down, she starts tasting the mashed potatoes, and she's tasting them, but then she tasted them again, kind of like trying to figure something out. And so here's a little bit of how the conversation went. My mom goes, these taste a little different. What's in these potatoes? And I was like, regular stuff. Milk, butter, salt and pepper, sour cream. And my mom goes, what? Why did you put sour cream? Now, in my head, I'm just like, wait a minute, what just happened here? Where's my accolades? Full on plot twist. So my mom proceeds to tell me about how I should not assume that people want sour cream in their mashed potatoes, and that why would I add sour cream to the mashed potatoes? She also complained and said that the mashed potatoes were too smooth. I have never heard of somebody saying that mashed potatoes was too smooth. But here's the other thing. My mom, if I had not put mashed potatoes in the sour cream in there, my mama would have added sour cream. And everybody else would have added sour cream. So all I did was put the sour cream in before they did it. I couldn't understand. Anyway, so I'm just confused. I'm stunned. I can't believe, where's my accolades? I was ready for it. And my mama came from the mashed potatoes. Now, the mashed potatoes were fine. People were eating the mashed potatoes, and then not just a little teaspoonful and the dish is still full at the end of the night. That's what you do to be polite. No, people was eating the mashed potatoes. They liked them. So, and I still couldn't wrap my mind around they were too smooth. Are you kidding me? But okay, I gotta let it go. So I could have asked my mom how she wanted the potatoes prepared. I mean, I could have, but why would I do that? She could have told me how she wanted them prepared. But she knew I'm as the oldest that I don't like that kind of thing. Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, nah, let me do this. Let me figure it out. You know, like I'm the oldest. I figure stuff out. So, you know, I did it my way. Anyway, like I said, everybody ate the mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes was fine. But just so y'all know, after that, for several holiday dinners, my mom would always bring up, you remember how Tina put the sour cream in the mashed potatoes last time? And I'm just sitting here like, ma'am, everybody ate the mashed potatoes, it was fine. But apparently that's what Black mamas do. They're gonna remind you of what you did that they did not like that you did, even though nothing happened, they still gotta remind you that you did it. That is my story. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, LaShonda put what I was going to say in the chat. Don't experiment on damn Thanksgiving now. You all have seen that video. Don't experiment. Don't do it. Thank you. And plus, you know, mamas and daughters, that's a whole, you better do it mama's way or it's not the right way. That's just how it is. Thank you for your story. We appreciate you. We are going to do our first raffle. This is the basket, just so people can see. I think you guys can see it. Yes, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I have the list of people who have donated. So I'm going to scroll, and then Christina is going to tell me when to stop. And wherever my finger lands, that's who has won the first basket. I'm going to put my email in the chat so we can so you all can contact me. If you're local, I will deliver it to you. If not, I will ship the basket. All right, here we go. You ready, Christina?
Mm-hmm.
Stop. You said stop? Kelly yes. Maston. Is she on the chat? If you're on the chat, Kelly Maston, claim your basket. You have won. Yay, Kelly. I will put my email in the chat. You can email me and we can connect. All right, first basket down. Now for our next storyteller, we want to welcome another doctor in the house, Dr. Antwan Perry. Grew up in a family where children were not allowed to say lie or liar, okay? In his family, when a lie was told, children were to say, telling a story. And Antwan has been telling stories ever since. So let us welcome Dr. Perry to the stage.
When I was in high school, I worked at this store called Rose's Discount Store, which is basically like a low budget Kmart. No shade to the people at Rose's. But I worked there in high school, and I remember it was the shopping season, holiday shopping season. And my manager came up to me and he said, Antwan, you've been doing such a great job. We're going to put you in the toy department, which is also the layaway department for the holidays. And I was like, so basically I've been doing so amazing. You want to give me a promotion? He's like, no, we just want you to work in layaway, brother. I was like, so basically, if people are going to be shopping for Christmas and the holidays, I'm basically like the Black Santa. He's like, no, I'm not saying that either. We just need you to work layaway in the toy department. I was like, so basically I'm saving Christmas. I accept. He was like, you don't have a choice. So it was the holiday season, and I remember my first day working in this department was on Black Friday. And I remember I got to the store that day, and I was supposed to be working with the full-time person. Her name's Kathy, who I hate. I'll tell you why I hate her later. But Kathy got sick, so they said, Antwan, you're gonna be working from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. All by yourself. And I was like, this sounds like a great idea to tell a 16-year-old you're going to be working in the layaway department by yourself on Black Friday. So I remember I got to work that day and it was crazy. And not only was it crazy because it was Black Friday at Rose's Discount Store, but it was also the release of the Tickle Me Elmo doll. Now, if you don't remember, You got to Google this or YouTube it. For some reason, back in the late 90s, Tickle Me Elmo was the most popular thing in the entire universe. And I remember that that Friday I got to work and people were in line, like literally 9:05. People are in line with their layaways. Hopefully, y'all are bougie. Y'all know what layaway is? It's when you don't have enough money to get all your stuff, so you put it on layaway. I'm just laying it away till I get all the money. So yeah, that's what layaway is. So I remember people came up and basically people were shopping for Christmas and they had toys for their kids and they had clothes for their kids and they had lots of Elmo dolls. And when people put things on layaway, what's supposed to happen is immediately they're supposed to, give me a deposit on their items, and I put everything in a box, and then I'm supposed to tape up the box, and then I'm supposed to print out labels of the items in the box, and I'm supposed to attach those labels to the box, and then I'm supposed to put the box in the stock room alphabetically by their last name. Ask me if I did any of that. Of course not, because that system didn't work for me. I'm a maverick. I'm a 16-year-old running this on my own, had to make the tough decisions. So what I decided to do was just leave little piles of toys and clothes and Elmo dolls in the stock room. And then I took the label that I was supposed to attach to the box and I just set it on top of the stuff because it would have taken me 5 to 10 minutes to box up every item. And I had people waiting. These people were here to see me. I was saving their Christmas. I was the Black Santa. So I remember by the end of the night, no exaggeration, I had about 500 piles of clothes and toys and Elmo dolls all over the stock room. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm not going home until I box all this stuff up. So around 9:15, I was like, I'm MFing tired. I'm not doing this tonight. You know what I'm going to do? I had to work the next day at 5 p.m. So I said, I'm going to come in at 1 o'clock and I'm going to leave a note for Kathy, who I hate. I, I wasn't even supposed to go into this, but let me tell you why I hate Kathy. I hated her voice. I hated her glasses. I hated her hair. She wore cowboy boots every day. I hated her shoes. But I was like, I'm going to leave Kathy a note and say, Kathy, don't touch this stuff. I'm coming in early tomorrow. I'm going to box all this up, blah, blah, blah. So I remember the next morning, I woke up and around 9:30 in the morning, my mom came home coincidentally with 2 Elmo dolls. I was like, Mom, where'd you get these Elmo dolls? And she said, I got them from your store. I was like, no, that's not possible. We sold out yesterday. She's like, no, there are probably about 20 or 30 left on the shelf. I was like, that's strange, but I didn't think anything about it. So I went to work. I got there around 12:30 actually, and I went into the stock room. Ask me if any of the stuff that I left in nice piles. I know you're thinking like you left piles of stuff. These were amazing piles though. But none of the stuff was there. And I was like, you know what? I hate Kathy, but you know what? Kathy did me a solid. She saw my note. She saw how busy I was. She probably wasn't even really sick. She felt guilty and she boxed all this stuff for me. So I found Kathy, restocked some stuff on the shelves. I was like, Kathy, I want to thank you. She cut me off. Antoine, oh my gosh, there was so much stuff in the stock room that I had to return to the aisles. What was the problem? I was like, Kathy, don't play with me. Kathy, what'd you do with all that stuff? She's like, yeah, I returned it to the shelf. I was like, Kathy, I left a note beside the cash register. She was like, note? Oh, that note. Sorry, Antoine, I didn't read it. I hate her. So in that moment, there was a lot of stuff going through my mind. And you might be thinking, Antoine, were you scared? Were you panicked? Of course not. I'm Antoine Perry. I mean, what am I panicked for? It was all going to work out, people. And most importantly, it wasn't my toys. I mean, I didn't really care. I was 16. So as people started to get their things out in those few weeks before Christmas, they would come. And of course, their boxes weren't in the back. So while they were at the counter, I would take off my smock and I would put on my coat and a hat. And then I would pretend like I was on supermarket sweep and I would just run through the aisles and start throwing stuff in the cart. And then when they weren't looking, I would sneak back inside and I would box the things up. And I would just, say, have a great day. Open it when you get home. I always made sure to say, open it when you get home, because when they were home, that means I was home. And who cares if the stuff was wrong? So I did that. And the closer we got to Christmas, like the more difficult it became to try to hide this from people. But I remember there was this little old lady. This was like the Friday before Christmas. There was this little old sweet church lady, like the kind of lady that carries peppermints in her purse and gives out sweet potato pies for no reason at all. I remember she came and she was saying, I'm here, I'm making my final payment, and I got clothes for my grandkids, and I got toys and easy bake ovens, and I got 2 Elmo dolls. I can't wait. She's like, you know, people are trying to buy them for $1,000 a piece, but I'm gonna keep mine. And I was like looking at her, smiling as she was telling this little story. And I was like, lady, you ain't getting no Elmo dolls today. But I couldn't let her know. So again, I went into the aisles like a supermarket sweep, started throwing stuff in the cart, went back in the stock room. I boxed it up. And like I was telling everybody else, madam, here's your stuff. And you know what? You look like you've had a rough day. Make sure you open this stuff when you get home. You don't need to open it just yet. Open it when you get home. And I want y'all to know this old lady lied to me. She lied to me. Sorry, grandma. She didn't tell a story to me. She lied to me because she said she was gonna wait till she got home. So as I'm helping the next customer and I'm in the aisle throwing stuff in carts, trying to fill up their boxes with anything I could find. I'm serious too. I mean, we were out of easy bake ovens, so I was putting like cookbooks in the boxes. We were out of G.I. Joe, so I was putting Barbies in the boxes, and we were out of Elmo dolls, so I threw some Sesame Street coloring books in there. Like we were out of everything. But she came back while I was in the aisle trying to do this to somebody else, and she said, "Baby," and I knew she had figured it out, and I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "You know, none of that stuff in the box is right, don't you?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I know." And she said, "Most importantly, where the fuck are my Elmo dolls?" And that's one of my favorite Christmas memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoine. Now you know you can't give an old black lady her stuff and think she's not gonna check before she leaves the store. You learned a lesson that day. You learned a lesson that day. Where the fuck was her Elmo dolls? They were gone. They were gone. Thank you so much, Antoine, for your story. We are going to take a very quick break. I'm going to keep putting some links in the chat. You can go to the bathroom if you need to, refresh your drink, get another glass of wine, whatever you need to do. We will be back in about 3 minutes.
Antoine, that was too funny. That was just way too funny. I can just see her now. She's the kind of little lady that's got her gray wig slightly off to the side. And
you know who she reminded me of from Coming to America? You know, the lady with the trench coat, and she's like, "If you're really a prince, I'll marry you." Like that's how she looked. She had a little coat on, she had a little hat on. But that woman cussed me out. I was like, "Wow, ma'am, really?"
Little church lady. That's church lady language.
Exactly.
Learn that the church lady, you could get that work from the church lady. Not playing. She put her little $20 down.
Especially a black church lady that you don't.
And she done been there every week and put her little coin on it.
Payments on time.
Remember there was an old I forget with Danny Glover and the white guy. They were cops, and they were
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, and it was the one where they had picked up the little guy that won the supporting Oscar. I don't look at old movies like that anymore. And he said he got the stuff from the drive-through, and he looked in the bag. He said, "You didn't check it before you pulled out. Don't you know they F you in the drive-through? They F you in the drive. You're always supposed to check your stuff before you pull out of the drive-through." It's just like people honking at you when you go to the bank machine. I'm gonna sit in my car and I'm gonna count all the money because I'm not pulling off so I can ring the bell and say, "Lady, you made a mistake. It's a 20 missing," you know. So that was funny. That was too funny. And people trying to perpetrate by messing up your mother's recipe or giving your aunt a book. They're going to remind you that you just never live it down. They come to you in your dreams after they've made transition, they even come to you in your dreams. Remember when you gave me that book? So Oh, good. Spiced tea. That's just what I'm gonna go get myself some tea.
I've not put sour cream in mashed potatoes since.
What I like was too smooth. How can mashed potatoes be too smooth? Did she want lumps in them? I mean, that's
Yes,
funny.
she said she liked a little bit of lumps in her mashed potatoes, and I was
Lumps
just
make it real. The lumps make it real.
listen. I was so taken aback because
That's like lumps in your cream of wheat. You
I knew she was getting ready to tell me how wonderful and tasty my dish was. It's okay though. It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you all. Okay, we have about 1 more minute, and then we are going to get back started. We have a holiday playlist, a lit holiday playlist. So if you need some Christmas music, I'm going to post it in the, in the chat.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, a 54 convertible to light blue. I wait up for you, dear Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Think of all the finest. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be just as good if you check off my Christmas list. Santa baby, I want a young really that smart. I love an angel on here, Santa baby. So hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa honey, one little thing I really need, the deed to a platinum of mine, Santa baby. So
All right, we are back. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. Are y'all ready for part 2? Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, I know that most of the stories you will hear tonight happen between Thanksgiving and New Year, and they're mostly Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year stories. But I don't want to leave out Kwanzaa is a holiday. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 candles, 7 principles, 7 special days for the African. And so Kwanzaa is one of my favorite childhood holiday memories. We used to have Kwanzaa celebrations at some good family friends, our house every year for about, well, they still do it now, but it started when I was about 6 years old. And it was just an awesome, just being loved and affirmed as kids, which I think is so important for Black children. Learning all the principles and everything. And so we have chosen Black Voters Matter as the organization to donate a portion of the funds that we collect tonight. That is one of the co-founders, Latasha Brown. You've probably seen her on CNN or MSNBC. Their organization was one of the organizations on the ground doing the work during the general election, and they are doing the work now during the special election that will happen on January 5th in Georgia. And I think that this organization is so important because they really are exemplifying the principles of Kwanzaa, of Umoja, of unity, of Ujima, collective work and responsibility, of Ajama, cooperative economics. They're not just going into communities and telling Black people, oh, you need to vote, without putting something behind it. They're doing the work, they're feeding people, they're doing, collecting toys or clothes or whatever people need. They're going into communities and building community. And that, to me, was the best part of Kwanzaa, was being together and being in community with one another, and just, loving up on just loving and being proud to be Black, happy to be Black. It's an awesome, awesome celebration. So if you are doing it this year, yay, amen. If not, research and maybe start something for your family, because it's a great way to celebrate. So that is who we are supporting this go round. A portion of the proceeds will go to Black Voters Matter. So coming next, I want to bring up our next performer, and there will be a raffle after her story. So I'm getting ready, get ready. Our next performer, Carol Moore, lives to connect and entertain through stories. With a style of storytelling that is comedic, conversational, and authentic, she has presented at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, served as a speaker coach for TED speakers through TEDx Tysons, and received the title of Moth Story Slam Champion. She's also competed in public speaking competitions with Toastmasters International, and is a member of both the National Storytelling Network and the National Communication Association. So please welcome Carol Moore to the Telling Stories stage.
So every year for Thanksgiving, we have dinner at either my mama's house or my grandmama's house. Every year, one or the other. And whoever has Thanksgiving, they're off the hook for Christmas. We go back and forth. Since I can remember, this is the way it's been. I'm not sure what happened, but in 2016, we were having a really hard time figuring out whose house we would go to. My family is very, very small, so I'm not sure what was going on, but I got tired of the back and forth. And much like Christina, I wanted to participate. And I said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. My mother looked at me. She said, you will host Thanksgiving dinner. I said, yeah, I've eaten Thanksgiving food like a bajillion times. I know how it goes. So, sure, just have everyone come to my house. You, Aunt Audrey, and Grandma Betty. Crap, Grandma Betty's she gonna come to my house. Here's the thing about Grandma Betty, or Miss Fine, as she calls herself. This is my mama's mama. She has no problem with self-esteem, as her nickname indicates. She is a very honest woman. She's very Southern. She left high school just 2 weeks after graduation and came to Baltimore because she was Miss Fine in the South, and she came to follow her dreams. Very honest, very opinionated, and very giving with her honest opinions. My grandmother is one who would say to me, I called her, I said, Happy New Year, Grandma. And she said, Happy New Year, baby. You engaged yet? Not even dating anybody, Grandma. No, I'm not, but okay, cool. Or she's said to me before, by the time I was your age, I had a whole husband and was raising 2 children. I said, true, that's you did, but that's not what I'm doing. But I hear you. Like, what do you say to that? You sure did. Seen the pictures. I don't know. But she's also a woman. One time we went to the Cheesecake Factory and our waitress came over, took our drink orders with her blonde hair and her blue eyes. And when she bounced away, telling us she'd be right back, my grandmother leaned back in her chair. She folded her arms, looked in the distance and said, I never thought I'd see the day when a white woman would wait on me. See, my grandmother's also a warrior. She's really strong. She knows exactly where she was when King got shot. She remembers waiting on white folk in a restaurant, serving them where they could sit down and eat, but she had to buy her food from a window. She remembers pushing through breast cancer and making it to the other side. Miss Fine, she's a warrior, which in order to be that way, she's tough. So some people have grandmothers who are mushy and sweet. And while Miss Fine does bake really good sweet potato pies, and she does keep peppermints in her purse, and she is on the missionary board, she's not the biggest advocate of feelings. Like, not hers, not yours, just feelings in general. They really kind of have no space. Doesn't mean any harm, that's just how she survived. So when it hit me that this very Southern, very strong, very honest, opinionated woman was heading to my house for my first Thanksgiving dinner, I broke into a full-on panic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Took a couple days, okay? Took a couple days to sink in, resonate with me. But when I came up for air, I clicked it into straight Stepford housewife mode. Because I said, if she coming, oh, we gonna give her something to come to, huh? So what happened was, I said, let me get myself together. First, I gotta get the house together. I'm cleaning, I'm talking sweeping, mopping, dusting, which I don't do a lot of, but that's okay because that's my business, okay? Then I'm talking about getting myself together. I had a blonde fro at the time, but I twirled it back into a style much like this one. And I put on a bold red lip, much like this one. And I wore my pearls because she was coming, much like these. And I had a little apron on, a little black apron that I wore that literally said little black apron on it. Because I thought, let's have a little snark in there. Okay, I was gonna be put together. And then, baby, did I cook? Now I could cook, and this was not my first time cooking. And I was aware that you don't experiment on Thanksgiving. You know, no shade to the sour cream, girl. I know they were good. I know they were good. But I kept everything kind of as traditional as I could, and I laid it out. I'm talking baked chicken, stuffing, mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, green beans, potato salad, rolls, banana bread, because why not? I don't know. I cooked whatever I knew to cook because Miss Fine was coming. And so the day came and I was ready. There were 3 tests I was gonna have to pass, and I was prepared. They knock on the door, my mom, my aunt, and my grandma. And I said, oh, I forgot you guys were coming. Please come on in. I'd been working for like 2 days, but I couldn't let her see it. Oh, come on in. My grandmother says, how you doing? I said, I'm good, Grandma. Please allow me to show you my home. So this is my dining room. I had the table set, fresh flowers in the middle. She said, I said, and this is my walk-through closet. Everything color coordinated, shoes tucked to the top. I said, and this is my bedroom, you know, where the magic happens. She said, So I hurried her out of there. I said, okay, well, you can have a seat here. And she said, oh. And that was it. Nice. I'll take it. That's a pass, right? She had nothing to say, nailed it. Then came the next part, one of the best parts. So when my grandmother comes to your home or any home, if she's not cooking, she's ready to eat. She walks in the door. As soon as she sits down, she's ready to eat. She don't care what you're doing. She don't care what anyone else is doing. She don't care who there, who not there. She's here, we eat. But my mother had driven the family down, and my mother brought food as well. Well, from Baltimore to Virginia, it's about an hour, 15 minutes. So she had to warm up her food, which means the whole meal wasn't ready yet. And so here comes Miss Fine. I'm just trying to figure out when we're gonna eat. And I said, hey, Grandma, you know what? Mom still needs to warm up her food. So while we let her do that, I figured you might want something to eat. So I have some appetizers. Not a lot, just little cut fruit, little cantaloupe, little honeydew, some pineapple, a couple grapes, I also have some cheese, a little sharp, a little extra sharp, some marble. Made you a little chicken salad. I got Ritz crackers, got little club crackers, and there's some deviled eggs here, some with bacon, some without, you know, just in case to hold you over. And she said, oh, all right. And she sat down, got a plate, and began to eat. Nailed it. Okay, I'm winning. I'm winning at this point. So then the big one, the third one, here it comes. It's the meal itself. So we all get our plates together. We sit around my little table in my laid out dining room. And we bless the food some type of way. I don't really remember that part. We did though, amen. And we begin to eat. Now, I am not focusing on my food. I'm trying to be cool. Am I cool? No. Am I trying? Oh yeah. But I'm really looking at her to see the reaction to this food. So I look down, I look up, I look down, I look up. My mom and my aunt, no, you know, I love them, but they're not the stars here. It's Betty. We got to get her on board. And then all of a sudden she eats and she picks around, she eats a little bit. And then she says, you know, this tastes like some of Miss Fine's cooking here. That was it. I'm gonna be real. I don't remember what happened the rest of that day. It didn't matter because my grandmother, the warrior, the Southern belle, the honest fighter, said that my food tastes like her, and she holds herself in the highest regard. My food, her food, one and the same? Oh man. And that was just a good time overall because we learned a lot that day, to include the fact that every time we have a family gathering now, if Miss Fine is coming, guess what we have? Appetizers. Ma, am I right? Am I right? You know we do. Huh? Yes, we do. Every time. Thanksgiving 2016. Baby girl, youngest of the family. I won that one. Oh gosh. Good times. Good times.
Yes, Carol, you won. You did it. You did it. Yes, get that dance in. Yes, you did. You deserve, girl. Because I know Miss Fine, she could have cut you deep, but she did not.
She don't play
Yeah,
that.
she don't play. I'm glad. I'm glad y'all also have appetizers now, as my auntie Janice used to say, a little something to take the edge off. That's what she used to say. And then, speaking of my auntie Janice, you guys, I knew I wasn't tripping that my aunt kept the book. My auntie Shirley found it in the basement. It was not yesterday I cried or one day my soul went. It was in the meantime. And I did write an inscription. It says, so when you are in that stadium surrounded by 499 good men and that one bad one, you will be able to recognize the bad one, dismiss him, and keep your eyes on all the great ones. Do you see how much I loved her? I loved her. And she still just... Yeah, she kept the book. I told you. Anyway, it is time for the second raffle of our basket. Carol, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let me get everybody's names. Okay. Michelle Gerard.
That's my girl.
Okay.
Oh, Michelle, yes.
Congrats, Michelle. I will send you my email in the chat so you can reach out to me and we can coordinate getting your gift basket. Yay! That worked out perfectly. Okay, our next performer coming to the telling story stage is my favorite girl, our first Georgia Peach, Shantae Parker. She's from Savannah. We are Spelman sisters. She is the managing director of Neighborhood Defender Service in Detroit. I don't know. She's barred in a gazillion states. I love to share that with people. She is just one of my favorite people. Please welcome to the telling story stage, Shantae Parker.
Thank It's cold, cold, cold. So growing up, New Year's Eve, I had one of two options. Option one, take my behind on down to the church house with my grandmama for watch night service, prayer, hallelujahs, love the Lord. Option two, stay at home and turn up at the house with my parents. They make us virgin pina coladas or let us have a sip of their wine cooler. And if I was lucky, I got both in one New Year's Eve night. Woohoo! And in college and law school, I was usually home for the holidays, and there was really nothing remarkable that happens on New Year's Eve in Savannah. So I had this dream, though, as a little girl, since a little girl. I wanted a real celebration, a party with hundreds of people dancing and drinking and vibing high off each other's energy, off the expectancy of a new year, fun, free, and full of life. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago that my wish finally came true. At the time, it was 2010. I was living in New Orleans, and I was in the first few years of my career as a public defender. I developed some really rich friendships in a very short amount of time. And one of the most meaningful of those friendships was with a tall woman named Nandi. Shout out to Nandi. Over 6 feet, confident, smart as a whip, a fellow lady lawyer. Nandi was Brooklyn through and through all day. And we would have so much fun together. And this particular year, Nandi said, you know what? Let's go to Jamaica for New Year's Eve. Work's been rough, and we need a getaway to celebrate right. Now, y'all gotta know what I was getting myself into when Nandi suggested this trip. This was not just gonna be some holiday, laying on the beach island getaway. Nandi was used to that New Year's Eve jet set life. She was a partier. She grew up on the Parkway, going to the Parkway every year, doing the jump up. I knew what the hell that was for a long time. And there I was, this Southern girl, more nuck if you buck, then broke up. And when the reggae set hit in college parties, I would hit the bathroom. Wasn't my thing. But the little girl inside me who had been stuck between option one and option two for so long said, you know what? If nothing else, I know this New Year's Eve with Nandi is gonna be one for the books. So I say, you know what, let's go, let's ride. So we arrived in Montego Bay a few days before New Year's Eve. We did the customary lounging on the beach, eating, drinking, but I was anxiously awaiting the main event, New Year's Eve. Now, Nandi had scoped out this huge party, one of the biggest parties in the area where we were for New Year's Eve at a jerk center. If you've ever been to Jamaica, jerk center is like a place where they serve jerk chicken and everything else during the day, and then it turns into a party at night. So I was excited. I was like, let's get off this resort. But inside, I had all these questions in my head. Would I be able to find anything to eat? Because I don't really like jerk chicken. Sorry, not sorry, it's not really my thing. And would they play any music besides reggae? And lastly, would I fall asleep from the boredom after song number 55? Meanwhile, Nadia is in the room practicing her wine, calling out reggae artists and pre-gaming with all the songs playing on her phone, songs I never heard of. But I said, you know what, here we go, let's do it. At the appointed time, taxi driver pulls up to the resort and whisks us away to the jerk center. And we asked him to crank up the music so that I could stay hyped for the 20-minute ride. And I was doing good for a bit of the way. But as the traffic slowed down, because it was backing up, because we were getting close to the jerk center, my light started to fade. And the worst possible thing happened. Ladies, y'all gonna feel me on this. I felt the urge to pee. And as we slowly creeped towards our destination, my bladder began to fill up and up and up. And I started to get whatever the version of having to pee of hangry is. I was angry and I had to pee. And I was about to be like, just drop her off. Let's go back to the resort. I don't have time for this. But Nandi was like, not let me quit. She said, okay, here's some tissue. I need you to jump out of this here taxi, go behind one of these cars parked on the side of the road, handle your business, and come on, let's go. And at first I was a little like, oh, no about that, what you say? But the idea of getting some relief and going on a little adventure inside of this bigger adventure was just really exhilarating to my Sagittarius heart. Sagittarius rising heart. And so I said, okay, we're here, let's do it. I hopped out. I ran behind one of the cars. I did my business and I sprinted back up to catch up with the taxi. And it was done. I did it. Yay. And just like that, time sped up. We were very quickly to the Jerk Center, jumping out of the taxi and walking toward this open air pavilion. And it is a people watcher's paradise. There are people laughing and singing. Music is pumping through the air. I was so ready. It was everything that I had dreamed of. People dressed in red, black, and green, and orange, and yellow, neon purple. Women with bikini tops on and bikini bottoms stuffed into short shorts. Guys with their fishnet shirts on, having the time of their lives. And it was the best time of my life. I had never danced to so much reggae. Who would have thunk it? I danced the whole night. I learned how to whine just a little bit. I locked eyes with strangers and smiled. And I felt alive with the possibility of 2011. I felt the vibe. That feeling that I had been searching for so long on the cusp of a new year. And all the rest of the trip, I couldn't stop thinking about how much fun I'd had. I was so grateful to Nandi for shoving me out of my comfort zone. And I was proud of myself as well for making it happen. I got to have one of the most exhilarating New Year's Eves of my life. And my friendship with Nandi grew so much over those few days on the island. And this proved to be very, very important that particular year, because as we boarded the plane back to New Orleans, I got a call from New York. A job that I had applied for many months before came through, and I was gonna be on my way to New York in a few short months. How bittersweet. Leaving New Orleans was one of the hardest things I ever did. The new opportunity was one I couldn't pass up, but I was leaving my dear friends, particularly Nandi. But over the past 10 years, I've learned the power of presence and cultivating friendships over time and space. And I think that we all have learned so much about that, particularly during this pandemic when we can't always get to the people that we love. How to keep connections going when you can't be there. And as we go into this holiday season, I'm reminded that it's not easy. It takes a lot of intention, some patience, and a whole heap of love, but it's worth it because that friendship has gifted me one of the best New Year's Eves of my life.
Get it, waiting for us, girl. Do it, girl. Yes. Ew, booyaka, booyaka. I don't even know if that's right. Thank you for sharing your story, Shantae. We are so glad that you had a wonderful New Year's Eve and that you were able to party. It's nothing like partying with your homegirl, with your homegirls, just having a good old time dancing the night away. So thank you for your story. Thank you for sharing. Okay, we have one more storyteller, and then when she finishes, y'all, we're raffling the last basket. So get those donations in, because this is about to be it now. Thank you to all who have donated thus far. I'll put up the link one more time before during Branda's story. But coming to the stage last, but definitely not least, is my boo, Brandis Rawls. She is just one of my favorite people, and you will find out why when you hear her story. She is a delight, a former hotelier. Now she's out here being a free spirit, just making it do what it do, teaching yoga and throwing dinner parties and just being Brandis, her beautiful self. So this is our second Georgia Peach. So see, we got to keep Georgia blue, like Gwendolyn said in the comments. Keep Georgia blue. So please welcome to the telling story stage, Brandis Rawls.
Hey y'all. Hope y'all feeling all right. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. Did y'all notice that shirt on the front? That was my, it's seen better days. That ornament fell off, and the gifts from the Christmas tree that were there, they gone. But this story is about how that doesn't matter. You just keep these traditions going. You hold on to those things. You hold on to those memories until you could get you a new shirt, a new ugly sweater. I'll make one later. But this story I'm about to tell y'all is about my mom. And my mama done walked in this room here. She don't know I'm finna talk about it. So help me talk about it real well. My story is about my mother's Super Bowl. I know that we mentioned the Super Bowl of Eden earlier. Now that has nothing on Betty Jean's Christmas party. It started about 15 years ago. About 15 years ago, my mama said, I want my friends and family to get together for the holiday. I want to see everybody around Christmas time. I mean, people with their families on Christmas, but I want to share some too. So she called all the friends and family that were in the vicinity and said, come to my house the Saturday before Christmas, and we're gonna have us a brunch. So first couple years, might have been 3 or 4 families. This is my story. You see? 3 or 4 families have come through, and we start about 10 o'clock, and we go to about 6, 7, 8. By that 3rd year, we was going to about midnight, and I'm tired, but we playing cards, so keep the party going. So this has gotten over the years so big that it's not just brunch anymore. Picture it. Let's go back to 2017. You pull up into the yard. You see the lights in the windows. The garage is open. There are tables out there because you got to have an overflow. You walk into the house. There are Christmas trees everywhere. There's garland that has thrown up all over everything. My mother is a former home ec teacher. So imagine a section of snowmen memorabilia, with the chair covers and the place settings. And then in another room, the theme is poinsettias. And then in another room, you have a theme of red and white, Rudolph and candy canes. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer candy canes. Those are made throughout the year so that there are enough for so everybody can take some home and pass them out. Because everybody loves Rudolph and peppermints. All right, so you've got the scene. This event still starts at 10 in the morning. We're gonna be here till about 2 a.m. And let me tell you why, because we're gonna have prayer. We're gonna start breakfast. We're gonna have some grits and eggs and bacon and biscuits and whatnot. And we're gonna hold hands, and we're gonna tell what everybody's been doing this year. Because a lot of these people haven't seen each other since last year at this event. and we're gonna update each other, and we're gonna love on each other. And then we're gonna get everybody who comes is gonna get a little present to take home with them, because everybody deserves a present for Christmas. Amen. I agree. And then we're gonna everybody who's in charge of their respective things, because as this has grown, my mother can't do all these things herself. And her being the only child of her siblings, she passing out assignments. Now, you only get to keep your assignment if you perform your assignment well. So if you get an assignment, oh, you want to shine. My assignment is the Christmas punch. Now, we all know that I could slang some liquor. And so my punches are always a hit. So and Marcus is gonna bring the dressing. Auntie Mary is making the potato salad. These people are there, top of their craft, right? So we're having a good time. It's about, let's say 8 p.m. now. The cards starting to roll and the fried chicken going, because Miss Jessie frying the chicken. When she step outside on that porch, you better get your plate ready, because it ain't gonna never get back to the stove. We grabbing for by the time she get back to the kitchen. So you want to have a dish that everybody loves. Now this particular year, as I'm going through fixing my plate, looking at all the goodies, I'm looking at the egg pies and the sweet potato pies and the cream cheese pound cake and the key lime cupcakes and the candied peanuts and the candied pecans and all of these yummy, delicious, all of this goodness. That's not even, that's just the desserts. I ain't even tell y'all about the main stuff. The fried chicken, the baked chicken, the turkey, the hams, all these things. Well, as I'm fixing my plate, I'm coming up on all this stuff, and then I see this little dish over here in the corner. It's a little, maybe an 8x8 pan, a square pan, look like you would put brownies in it. So I open it up, because I'm like, ooh, something else that is over here in the corner. Don't nobody know about it. It might be something good. I was wrong. So let me tell you what was in this dish. There was some kind of noodle concoction with some shredded carrots and maybe a bok choy. My mama don't even know what a bok choy is. What is you bringing a bok choy in my mama's house? But anyway, and it has some kind of sauce on top of it with some seeds sprinkled on it. I passed that up. It was, I'm gonna tell you what it was. I don't know what it was, because it was some noodles, and it was so nobody touched it. Later on in the evening, I found out who made this dish. It was Angie. Oh, you saw that reaction? Love her to death. Angie's our vegan friend. Now, let me tell you a little something else about my family. We country. We like pork. We like swine. We like all that good stuff that clogs the arteries and causes the diabetes. That's what we like. That's what we're doing. We're celebrating with the things that's gonna kill us. So that's what we're doing. So she's walking around, and I know it's her that brought this dish, because she's walking around to see if anybody tried. And my family is honest, opinionated, a lot like Miss Fine, but multiplied by all kinds of iterations of them. All right. Now we sitting on the back porch having us a little cocktail, and here she come to ask if we tried the dish. It's me and Marcus and Crystal, these the cool cousins, about my age. So she says, hey, did anybody try what I brought? Marcus, what'd you bring? The noodle dish. No, I ain't tried that. That didn't look like nothing I wanted to put in my mouth, ma'am. Oh, now me, I'm messy. Cause it's me now. Like, Lord, how you tell somebody that about it? And she's trying to get invited back to bring this little noodles back. Don't nobody want these noodles now. And you need to know that don't nobody want these noodles. So Crystal, she said, I tried it. She said, well, what did you think? Crystal said, tell the truth, tastes too healthy for me. You could have put some Alfredo or something on there. That just, That wasn't it. And her feelings was hurt. And I am cackling because you got to know who our people is. We don't tell you no lie. We gonna love on you, but we ain't gonna lie to you. If your noodles was nasty, your noodles was nasty. Well, another thing we're not gonna do, we're not gonna waste. And my mama might not remember this, but she made sure to wrap them noodles up real tight so she could take them right on back home with her, because waste not, want not, amen. Everybody deserves a little present at Christmas. You got a little extra under your tree this time. So I said all that to say, make sure you are around some people this holiday season that's gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna love on you, and they're gonna tell you when not to bring them noodles back. Okay, so you continue, you make those holiday memories, and you make sure that your traditions continue and they grow. Because my mother's has grown till there are 13 Christmas trees in the house. Oh, no. Yes, oh yes, in every room, bathrooms included. Spread that holiday cheer all through your life. I love y'all. Happy holidays. Make some memories this year.
Yes, thank you, Brandon. We love you. Yes,
Love you.
no, you can't bring nasty vegan.
You can't bring them noodles no more,
around a bunch
baby.
of Black people who like
No.
ham and other things. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Thank you and let me just tell y'all that Brandon's mama Betty makes the best fries the best fried chicken. And I'm saying this as somebody whose grandmama is from Selma, Alabama. But if you are ever in Fort Valley, I don't know, go try to find Miss Betty. Because I'm telling y'all, thank you, Brandon, thank you, Miss Betty. You see, I still talk about it. That was like years ago. Thank you for your story. Okay, we're gonna raffle off our last basket. Brandon, are you ready?
I'm ready, baby.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna do it. Okay.
Stop.
Shondell Ayala.
All right, Shondell.
Are you here right now?
Hey, get your basket, girl. Hey.
I want a basket. Okay, she's here.
Hey, Shondell.
All right, congrats. That is our last basket for the evening. Shondell, I'm gonna put my email. I'm gonna do it right now. Email me so that so that we can connect and I can, oh, you're welcome. And I can get you your basket. So that is the end of our show. Thank you all for coming. We want to thank all of our storytellers for joining us tonight. Weren't they fantastic? Please, let's give it up again for them. We want to thank Molly Graham, who did our tech tonight. Want to thank all of you all who donated, who came. You could have been anywhere else. Maybe not. I don't know. The world is opening up a little bit depending on where you live. Before we go, I do want to, I do just want us to have a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives this year to COVID-19. So if we can just have a quick moment of silence. Thank you. And I also just want us to remember anyone else who passed away this year, maybe not from COVID-19, but I think that this year during this pandemic, many of us, we haven't even been able to gather. We haven't been able to grieve together. If we lost somebody, we haven't been able to celebrate. We heard so many stories about traditions, and this year has been different for so many of us, the holidays especially. And so whatever you're dealing with in your own life, whether you've dealt with any depression or anxiety or loneliness this year, you're missing your family, you can't hug your loved ones, you haven't seen your mama or your friends or whatever it is, We just hope that this show brought you some joy, brought you some laughter tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed yourself tonight. We hope that you have a blessed holiday season. And we will see y'all on the other side prayerfully in 2021. We'll have some new shows in 2021. Let's put one or two in the air for that. But we will see you on the other side. And we just want to say happy holidays to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night. Bye.